What's up, man? It's Brian Alsruhe with NeverSay.com, and I am back in Maryland for the time being. I had an amazing time out in California with Alan Thrall, Mark Bell, and the entire Super Training crew, but now we are back to normal. But before you freak out, do not worry. There are plenty of collaboration videos coming up, and I will be releasing some of them later this week and some next week. I'm trying to stretch it out so that my channel is more interesting. But it is Tuesday morning, and on Tuesdays, I do my best to try to tape how-to videos for you guys, and this one has been majorly requested. It is about how to build your grip. I know a lot of you had trouble holding on to deadlifts, and if you're a strongman, you know how important your grip is to all those events. So I'm gonna give you guys 5 different ways that you can work your grip that are non-traditional. I'm not gonna talk about things like not using straps on the deadlift or rows or shrugs. That stuff should go without saying. If you're using straps for every set of your deadlift and then you're complaining about your grip, come on, man. I'm also gonna leave out things like wrist curls, because very similar to bicep curls, I think there are more effective ways to get your desired result. Now, when we are talking about grip strength, there are 3 things that I want you to consider. Number 1 is your crush strength. That is where your hand is mostly closed. So something like a barbell on the deadlifts or a farmer's walk with a standard implement or dumbbell, that your hand is for the most part closed. You're not very open on that. This is your crush strength. There's probably a better technical term for it, but for me personally, this is your crush strength. The second thing to consider is something that I call your pinch grip. Now that is where your hand cannot close all the way. It becomes super important for something like axle deadlifts. That's when your hand can't get all the way around the bar. You can't use your crush strength. You need to use your pinch strength. So different muscles are being used in the hand and they are highly neglected, kind of like the lobster on The Little Mermaid. Now, third and probably most neglected portion of your grip strength is your finger strength. Now, a lot of people who are involved in lifting heavy things do not care about their finger strength. They don't think about their finger strength. But if you ask a climber, if you go to a climbing gym, climb things like mountains and stuff, those people will tell you that their finger strength is massively, massively important, because that is sometimes all that's holding on to. And if we pull that over to some sort of lifting weights, if you're deadlifting and the bar is slipping out of your hands, what's the last thing that needs to hold on before it gives? Your fingers, right? So we need to work on that finger strength, and I've got a really interesting way to work on that, so I'm gonna go over that with you guys. These are pretty important. Me personally, I like to train my grip in other sorts of ways by taking regular exercises and making them harder so that my grip is being worked, even though I'm not specifically directing my energy towards it. So the very first thing I wanna talk about is pull-ups. Now, you should be doing pull-ups anyway because they're an awesome builder for your back, for your lats, for your forearms, for your biceps. Pull-ups are awesome. You should be doing pull-ups no matter what, a lot of them all throughout the week. However, you can inadvertently work your grip strength if you just create a different hold for your hands, and then you don't need to spend any extra time at the end of your workout doing direct grip work. You can hit it as you go. So you guys have seen me do these a lot in my videos, but these are grenades, and all they are is a 3-inch, sometimes diameter is bigger, sometimes smaller, but pretty standard 3-inch ball that you need to hold onto with your hands. It is much, much tougher than just wrapping your hands around a pull-up bar, and it will automatically start building up that forearm strength and your hand strength and your finger strength all at once. If your gym doesn't have a set of grenades, you can buy them at EliteFTS.com or RogueFitness.com, and both have really good brands that I would recommend. Just throw them in your gym bag and take them with you. Now, if you do not want to go out and spend money on grenade pull-up handles, then I would encourage you to go to your mom's closet and grab a towel, because obviously you still live with her, you need to get your life together. But if you just grab a towel and you throw it over a pull-up bar, you can do towel pull-ups that are going to work your grip and your finger strength incredibly hard. Do not wrap your hands around a towel. That completely defeats the purpose. And make sure it's a sturdy towel, because that thing will rip and you will look stupid, and no one really wants to look stupid. All right, so the second thing I want to talk about is the farmer's walk. Now, you guys have heard me preach the praise of farmer's walks for way too long now. It builds your traps, your upper back, your biceps. When people ask me how my traps and biceps got so big, one of my very first answer is always farmer's walks. However, a lot of people do not want to do them. They would rather do curls. I do not understand that, and I do not understand why you continually ask me that question. It's for farmer's walks and way to pull ups, people. Farmer's walks, way to pull ups. Now, obviously, I would like to see you use a real farmer's walk implement, because that is what you can get the heaviest with, and I think you're gonna have the best carryover to grip strength, trap, upper back, bicep. All of that is gonna develop better with heavier weights, and if you are in a gym with nothing but dumbbells, a lot of times the dumbbells do not go heavy enough to create the stimulus that I'm trying to get you to get from a farmer's walk. But since you're watching this, I'm gonna go ahead and assume that you have access to either dumbbells or kettlebells at your standard gym that you're working out at, and that is an awesome substitute for the traditional farmer's walk implement. even though it may not be able to get quite as heavy as I would like to see to get the stimulus that I'm talking about from the farmer's walk. However, if that's all you have, that's what you work with, man. You gotta use what you got. But let's take it one step further and say that you do not have access to farmer's implements, dumbbells, or kettlebells. I'm gonna assume that you have access to standard weight plates. If you say you don't have access to standard weight plates, I don't know what to say. So if you have access to bumper plates, you can go ahead and grab the outside of a standard 45. That's gonna work your pinch grip because you're not gonna be able to close your hand very far, and you can just do your farmer's walks with those. The weight, it may not be enough to drive up your trap development, but it is gonna work your hands. There is no doubt about that. But I know you have access to metal plates. So what I want you to do is take those metal plates and make a grip sandwich. So what I'm talking about that is you're gonna take a 10-pound plate and then a 2.5-pound plate and another 10-pound plate and squish them together like it's a sandwich. Make sure the 2.5-pound plate is up near the top. So the 2 10s are the piece of bread and the 2.5 is the stuff inside the sandwich. And if you're even stronger, you can grab a 25 with a 2.5 and another 25, or if you're even stronger than that, go 25, 5, 25. Now, the only caveat is that the smooth sides of the plate need to be on the outside, so they're both facing inward. That is going to give you much less tension to grab onto. You're not gonna have that lip to kind of hook your fingers around, and it is going to be very, very challenging. Now that you have that grip sandwich, all I want you to do is pick it up and carry it as far as you can. Now, as far as how to work farmer's walks into your program, I like to program them in 3 different ways. The first is very heavy for short distances. So this is gonna be more applicable to people who have an actual farmer's walk implement, but you could probably get away with it with some heavier dumbbells, as long as your gym's dumbbells don't only go up to 50. But I like to throw these in kind of at the end of one of my strength giant sets, almost as the conditioning portion, but I'll just pick it up and I'll carry it like 50 feet. The second way that I like to program them in is for moderate weights for moderate distances. So I'll take something like a 100-foot run. Might be 50 foot with a turn and then 50 foot back, or just 100 foot straight out. Either way, doesn't really matter that much, but you wanna be working probably in your 70 to 80 percentile. Now, I would do this with a clock so that my grip does not have as much time to recover. I will go at the top of every minute for 10 or 12 minutes. I'll pick them up, carry them the 100 feet. The faster that I move with the implements, the more recovery that I get. So if it takes me 20 seconds to get the set done, that clock's just ticking. So when it comes back up to the top, I have to go again. So if it takes me 20 seconds to get it done, that gives me 40 seconds of rest. If it takes me 40 seconds to get that 100 foot covered, then I only have 20 seconds of rest. So it pays to win, people. And finally, the third way that I like to program it is for extremely long distances with really light weight. So I might do a couple runs of 400 meters with nothing more than like 135 in each hand. That is a rough day, not only on your lungs, but also on your traps, on your biceps, and especially your grip. I would probably not do the farmer's walk more than 1 time a week, simply because you're gonna be using your grip on other things like your deadlift, and you do not want to miss a heavy deadlift because your grip gave out because you were too busy working on farmer's walks. That would be a mistake. Moving on. Hi. So you guys know those really annoying free papers that show up in your house that show up in a bag like this every single week that you cannot get them to stop sending you? Well, now you can thank them because they just gave you a way to build your finger strength and your grip strength every single week without fail, and this will keep you on track because it's gonna show up the same day at the same time every single week, and when you get it, you can do this. So all I'm gonna do is take this full-size sheet of newspaper in my fingers, start pinching it like this on the corner. Now, the audio is probably not gonna like this very much, but what I'm going to do is just take this with my hand, with my arm extended, and crumble it up as tight as possible. Here we go. Once you have reached the desired tightness that you think is good enough, you throw this in the recycling, you switch hands, and you go the other side. And you do that with all of this. Yeah, it looks really, really easy. This is actually a trick that one of my fighting coaches taught me many, many years ago, and I've used it so many times in my life. It is ridiculous. Just doing that one piece of paper, I started getting some arm pump. It works amazingly well. It seems completely simple and seems really easy, but it's not. It's a great way to build your finger and grip strength, and you're already getting those free papers anyway, so you might as well put them to good use. Instead of just throwing them in the recycling bin, crumple them up, and then throw them in the recycling bin. There you go. Now they are amazingly less annoying to get every week. You're welcome. The fourth way that I think you can inadvertently work your grip doing exercises that you're gonna be doing anyway is with fat grips or an axle bar. Anyone who has ever used an axle bar in their entire life is always shocked because your deadlift drops substantially for no other reason than just the grip, if you're not using straps. Come on, man. If you don't have access to an axle, you can pick them up pretty cheaply, literally for probably about half the price of a decent barbell. But you can also pick up these fat grips. These are not mine. These are a buddy of mine's. I'm not really sure why I'm holding on to them right now. Sorry, Nick. But anytime that you make the bar fatter, it's going to work your grip more. So you can use those on pull-ups, you can use them on your farmer's walks, especially if you have farmer's walks and you're using dumbbells. That is going to make your heaviest set of dumbbells seem 1,000 times worse. And if either you don't have the money or you don't feel like spending the money on fat grips or a real axle, I put out a section of this video that's linked above that explains how you can make your own just by going to the hardware store and picking up simple items that you can get anywhere. So use a fatter bar for all of your barbell movements on a 10, 12-week program, and you'll be shocked at how much your grip went up just doing things that you normally would do anyway. And the final way that I want to talk about building your grip strength today is by utilizing holds. Now, there are numerous ways that you can do this. The first one is the side barbell standy hold. Yeah. Anyway, I'm definitely taking this from Ed Cohn. I saw him do it on Mark Bell's channel. It's just where you stand with a barbell at your side and you pick up really heavy weights and you hold it for like 30, 40 seconds. It is hard. If you're a strongman gym that has access to a rolling thunder, I would encourage you to use that for your dumbbell rows, for your dumbbell side bends, whatever you're gonna be using, just use that rolling thunder handle. You may not be able to use quite as much weight, but your grip is gonna get worked exponentially. You can also use the fat grips on dumbbell rows. That'll help you out a lot too. The rolling thunder is the most humbling thing ever. And if you're at a commercial gym and you don't have access to a rolling thunder, I would encourage you to grab the top, the head of a dumbbell and pick it up and hold them. Again, this is gonna work your finger strength and your pinch grip. This is extremely hard. It doesn't look like it would be bad at all, but light weights can absolutely smoke your hands. And finally, again, if we go back to a strongman gym and you have access to a yoke, drop the cross member all the way down to below your knees and then deadlift up, double overhand people, a yoke and hold it for time. Now, if you guys are not involved in strongman world, the cross member on a yoke is typically 3-inch in diameter, which is extremely, extremely hard. Also, if you are part of a strongman gym and you have a circus dumbbell handle that has a 3-inch diameter, work on picking that thing up and holding it. Anything that gets near that 3-inch diameter is extremely hard to hold on to for most humans, not like you 7-foot-tall monsters out there. It's not easy. All right, guys, so there you go. There are 5 ways that you can be working your grip, a lot of times doing things that you're doing anyway, and you'll be getting your grip strength in without having to take time and effort away from your other training to do direct forearm work. Hopefully this will lead to no more drop deadlifts, forearms like Popeye, and feeling good about yourself. I don't know about that last one. Anyway, guys, I hope you walked away from this video having a couple ideas that you did not have before. I know you didn't have that newspaper one because literally I've never seen that any other place than when my fight coach, who is a mad scientist, he figured out. I'm sure he learned it from somewhere. Probably not though. It's kind of evil genius. But like I said at the beginning of the video, I will have more collaboration videos up by the end of the week and into next week. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until I see you again, work your grip, people. Go out, do something amazing with your lives. Keep working hard, be nice to each other, and I will see you then.